Your soulmate just made a silent promise. And it has your name written all over it. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. If these words have found you today, pause for just a moment and allow your heart to become still. Out of every message, every video, every voice, and every distraction that could have captured your attention, something gently guided you here. That is not something to fear. It is a reminder to slow down and reflect. Maybe you've been asking the universe for a sign. Maybe you've been wondering why your heart suddenly feels different. Maybe you've been carrying a feeling you couldn't explain, as if something important is quietly changing behind the scenes. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. There are moments in life when the greatest transformations happen without anyone else noticing. No announcements are made. No grand speeches are given. No one applauds the decision. Yet in one quiet moment, a heart changes forever. Somewhere, your soulmate has reached that exact moment. For a long time, they believed silence was easier than honesty. They convinced themselves that keeping their deepest feelings hidden would somehow protect them from disappointment. They filled their days with work, responsibilities, distractions, and routines that kept their mind occupied. To everyone around them, everything looked normal. They smiled when expected. They answered questions with confidence. They continued moving through life as though nothing inside them had changed. But the universe has a remarkable way of revealing truths that can no longer remain hidden. What began as an ordinary day slowly became something unforgettable. It wasn't because of one dramatic event. It wasn't because someone forced them to face the past. It happened because their own heart finally became louder than their fear. This message is for you. There are some promises that are never spoken aloud because they are first made in the deepest place within the soul. Your soulmate has made one of those promises. No one else heard it. No one else witnessed it. Yet it carries extraordinary meaning because it was born from honesty instead of impulse. It came after countless nights of reflection, after lessons they never expected to learn, after realizing that some people leave your life for a season but never leave your heart. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. A silent promise made from genuine reflection has a different kind of power. It changes the person making it before it changes anything else. There was a season when your soulmate believed they had all the answers. They thought time alone could erase every emotion they refused to understand. They believed enough distance would eventually silence every memory connected to you. But instead of fading, those memories became clearer. They remembered your kindness during difficult seasons. They remembered the patience you offered when they struggled with themselves. They remembered the way ordinary conversations somehow made even the hardest days feel lighter. At first they dismissed those memories as nostalgia. Then they realized something much deeper. They weren't remembering moments. They were remembering how they felt when they were with someone who genuinely cared. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. While your soulmate was slowly waking up to these realizations, your own journey was changing in beautiful ways. You have become stronger than the version of yourself who once searched endlessly for explanations. You no longer measure your worth by someone else's ability to recognize it. You have cried, healed, grown, and learned that peace is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. There were nights when you wondered whether everything you shared had been forgotten. There were mornings when you promised yourself to stop looking back. Yet even during those moments, your spirit continued becoming wiser. Every challenge taught you something valuable. Every disappointment reminded you that genuine love should never require you to lose yourself. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Have you noticed how certain moments seem to carry unusual meaning lately? Perhaps you glance at the clock and notice 11:11 just as you're thinking about your future. Maybe 2:22 appears when you're trying to be patient. Perhaps 444 catches your attention during moments when you need reassurance. Whether you see these patterns as spiritual reminders or simply meaningful coincidences, let them encourage you to slow down and trust your own journey. Growth often happens quietly, long before anyone else notices it. This message is for you. Your soulmate has also been noticing quiet reminders. A familiar song plays unexpectedly. A place they haven't visited in years suddenly brings back memories they thought had disappeared. Someone says something that reminds them of advice you once gave. Every reminder gently leads them toward the same realization. They never truly forgot you. They simply spent a long time trying to convince themselves that forgetting was easier than facing the truth. Now that truth has become impossible to ignore. Imagine your soulmate sitting alone after another ordinary evening. The house is quiet. The world outside continues moving, but inside, something extraordinary is taking place. They begin thinking about everything life has taught them. The victories. The disappointments. The people who came and went. Then your memory quietly enters their thoughts without invitation. This time they don't push it away. This time they allow themselves to ask an honest question: why does this connection still matter so much? That single question opens a door they had kept closed for far too long. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. As they sit with those thoughts, another realization begins to unfold. They recognize that throughout every season of growth, every challenge, and every change, there has been one constant presence quietly living inside their heart. It isn't about clinging to the past. It is about recognizing the people who helped shape who we become. They realize that your encouragement gave them confidence during moments when they doubted themselves. Your compassion taught them that strength and kindness can exist together. Your belief in them remained long after they stopped believing in themselves. Those lessons became part of their life, even during the seasons when you were no longer walking beside them. This message is for you. That is when the silent promise was made. No one heard the words because they were spoken only inside the heart. It was not a promise built on fantasy or desperation. It was built on gratitude, humility, and personal growth. They quietly promised themselves that they would never again take genuine love for granted. They promised they would stop allowing fear to make decisions that honesty should make. They promised to become someone who values emotional truth more than temporary comfort. And somewhere within that silent promise, whether they admitted it aloud or not, your name remained written across every hope they carried for the future. Listen to this. Because your heart needs this right now. The universe has not asked you to stop living while someone else learns their lessons. Your path has always been about becoming the strongest, wisest, and most peaceful version of yourself. Continue choosing joy. Continue protecting your heart. Continue believing that every difficult season has prepared you for something healthier than what came before. Because the silent promise your soulmate just made is only the beginning. The next chapter will reveal why that promise is becoming stronger with every passing day, and why the courage to honor it may soon change everything they thought they knew about love, destiny, and the future. Don't scroll. Listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. The silent promise your soulmate made did not disappear when the moment ended. In fact, that quiet decision became the beginning of a transformation they never expected. There were no witnesses. No applause. No dramatic conversation. Only a heart that finally became honest enough to admit what it had been hiding for far too long. Since that moment, something inside them has refused to return to the way it was before. They wake up each morning carrying the same responsibilities, following the same routines, speaking to the same people, yet everything feels different because the promise they made continues echoing through every ordinary moment. Listen to this. Because your heart needs this right now. Some promises are spoken with the lips, but the most powerful promises are written upon the soul. They become part of who a person is. They shape future decisions before anyone else notices that change has even begun. For a long time, your soulmate believed they could separate their emotions from their everyday life. They convinced themselves that they could lock certain memories away while continuing to move forward without ever looking back. But the universe has a remarkable way of opening doors we believed were permanently closed. Every quiet evening became another invitation to reflect. Every unexpected reminder became another opportunity to see the past with clearer eyes. They started remembering things they had forgotten were important. Not the arguments. Not the misunderstandings. They remembered the peace. They remembered the comfort of being fully understood. They remembered how your encouragement arrived exactly when they needed it most. Those memories no longer brought confusion. They brought gratitude. This message is for you. While your soulmate has been learning gratitude, you have been learning something equally powerful. You have been discovering that your peace does not depend upon another person's timing. There was a season when unanswered questions felt unbearable. You searched for reasons. You replayed conversations. You wondered whether you could have changed the ending if only you had said one more thing or waited one more day. Yet healing slowly taught you that your worth has never depended on someone else's readiness. Your heart remained beautiful even during the moments when it felt unseen. Your kindness remained valuable even when it was not fully appreciated. Those truths have become part of your strength. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Sometimes the universe allows distance because two hearts need to grow in different directions before they can truly understand what they shared. While you were learning self-respect, your soulmate was learning humility. While you were discovering inner peace, they were discovering the difference between temporary comfort and lasting connection. Every lesson, every disappointment, and every unexpected turn became another page in a story that neither of you could fully understand while you were living through it. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Have you noticed how your intuition has become calmer? There was a time when every silence created anxiety. Today you are beginning to trust yourself again. You no longer need every answer immediately. You have started believing that what truly belongs in your life will never require you to abandon your own peace. That quiet confidence is one of the greatest gifts this journey has given you. It allows you to love with an open heart while still honoring your own boundaries. This message is for you. Your soulmate has also begun noticing meaningful moments that seem impossible to ignore. They glance at the clock and repeatedly see 11:11 while thinking about new beginnings. They notice 222 during moments when balance feels possible again. They encounter 444 when they need reassurance that growth is happening even if they cannot yet see the outcome. Whether they interpret these moments as spiritual guidance or meaningful reminders, each one gently encourages them to keep moving toward honesty instead of hiding behind old fears. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. There is another part of the silent promise that has not yet been revealed. It was not only a promise about love. It was also a promise about becoming a different person. Your soulmate quietly decided they no longer wanted fear to guide their choices. They grew tired of wondering what life might have looked like if they had been more honest, more patient, or more willing to communicate. Reflection has shown them that protecting pride often costs more than protecting the heart. That realization has changed the way they see everything. Imagine your soulmate sitting alone after another ordinary day. The lights are low. The room is peaceful. They think about the person they were when life first pulled the two of you apart. Then they think about the person they are becoming now. The difference surprises them. They are less interested in appearing strong and more interested in becoming genuine. They no longer want to hide behind excuses that once sounded convincing. They want a life built on truth rather than assumptions. That desire grows stronger with every passing day. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. The universe is also reminding you that your own journey has never been about waiting for someone else's transformation. Your journey has always been about your own. Continue choosing joy. Continue building the life that brings you peace. Continue believing that every lesson you survived has prepared you for healthier love, deeper understanding, and stronger confidence. If someone enters your life, let them become part of the happiness you have already created instead of the source of it. This message is for you. The silent promise continues becoming stronger because every lesson your soulmate learns gives it deeper meaning. They are beginning to understand that genuine love is not sustained by dramatic declarations alone. It is sustained by consistent effort, honest communication, accountability, patience, and respect. Those qualities are no longer ideas to them. They have become goals. They want to become someone capable of protecting the kind of connection they once failed to fully appreciate. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The season of quiet reflection is slowly giving way to a season of courage. The promise that began in silence cannot remain hidden forever. Promises made from genuine growth eventually seek expression through meaningful action. Your soulmate can feel that change happening within them. Every day the distance between what they feel and what they are willing to say becomes smaller. Every sunrise makes the promise feel more real than the fear that once kept it buried. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Continue trusting your own path. Continue honoring the wisdom your heart has earned. Continue believing that every difficult chapter has shaped you into someone capable of recognizing love that is rooted in truth instead of uncertainty. Because the silent promise your soulmate made was never meant to remain only a private thought. It is becoming the foundation for every decision they make next. And as that promise grows stronger, the next chapter will reveal the moment when what was once hidden inside their heart begins moving toward the light through actions that speak far louder than words ever could. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. The silent promise your soulmate made has begun changing them in ways that even they cannot fully explain. It was never just a passing emotion or a hopeful thought that disappeared with the sunrise. It became a quiet commitment that followed them into every ordinary day. They carry it when they wake up in the morning. They carry it through conversations, responsibilities, and moments when life seems completely normal. Yet beneath every routine, something continues whispering to their heart. You cannot become the person you were meant to be by ignoring what you know is true. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Some promises are not meant to impress the world. They are meant to transform the soul that makes them. For a long time, your soulmate believed that the safest path was to remain emotionally guarded. They convinced themselves that silence protected them from disappointment. They believed that if they never admitted what they truly felt, they could never be hurt by losing it. But life has gently revealed the opposite. The silence they depended upon became heavier than honesty ever could have been. Every day spent avoiding the truth slowly became another reminder that fear had been making decisions that love should have made. This message is for you. Growth often begins when a person realizes they are more exhausted by pretending than they would ever be by telling the truth. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. While your soulmate has been wrestling with these realizations, the universe has continued shaping your own heart. Think about how different you are today compared to the person you were when this journey first began. Back then, uncertainty seemed unbearable. You searched for answers everywhere. You questioned your own value because someone else's choices felt deeply personal. Yet through every difficult season, you discovered something that changed your life forever. Your worth never depended on another person's timing. Your kindness was never a mistake. Your love was never wasted simply because it was not fully understood in the moment. Those truths became the foundation of your healing. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has started remembering conversations they once considered ordinary. They remember the times you believed in them before they believed in themselves. They remember how you celebrated their victories without making them compete for your attention. They remember how you listened with genuine patience instead of waiting for your turn to speak. Looking back now, they understand that those moments were quietly teaching them what healthy love actually looked like. They simply were not ready to recognize it then. This message is for you. Sometimes the greatest lessons are only understood after enough time has passed for pride to become humility. Your soulmate has reached that place. They no longer see the past through the eyes of fear. They see it through gratitude. They understand that genuine connection cannot be measured by dramatic moments alone. It is built through trust, consistency, compassion, and the simple feeling of being accepted without pretending to be someone else. Those were the gifts you offered, and those gifts have remained with them long after circumstances changed. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Perhaps you've noticed that your intuition has become stronger. You no longer feel the need to chase every answer or force every outcome. Instead, you have started trusting that the right people will reveal themselves through consistent actions rather than uncertain words. That quiet confidence is one of the greatest blessings your journey has given you. It protects your heart while still allowing it to remain open to genuine love. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has also begun paying attention to small moments that seem filled with meaning. They notice repeating numbers appearing at unexpected times. They pause when they see 111 during moments of hope, 222 while thinking about balance, and 444 when they need reassurance that personal growth is still unfolding. Whether they interpret these moments spiritually or simply as reminders to reflect, they have become invitations to slow down and listen to what their heart has been trying to say all along. This message is for you. The silent promise they made continues becoming stronger because every lesson they learn adds another layer to it. They promised themselves they would never again allow fear to silence gratitude. They promised they would stop assuming that meaningful people would always remain within reach. They promised they would become someone who chooses honest conversations over comfortable avoidance. Most importantly, they promised that if life ever offered another meaningful opportunity, they would approach it with humility instead of hesitation. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Imagine your soulmate sitting beneath the evening sky after another ordinary day. There is no audience. No expectations. No distractions. Just a quiet heart reflecting on everything life has taught them. They begin to realize that the promise they made was never only about another person. It was also about becoming someone they could genuinely respect. Someone who tells the truth even when it feels difficult. Someone who values emotional honesty more than protecting an image. Someone who understands that real courage is found in vulnerability, not in emotional distance. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. The universe is reminding you that your own peace remains precious. Never forget the strength you built while learning to stand on your own. Never abandon the wisdom that taught you to recognize healthy love. If someone walks into your life, let them meet the healed version of you, the person who understands that trust is earned, respect is essential, and consistency matters more than beautiful promises. This message is for you. The distance that once separated your paths is no longer the same distance that exists inside your hearts. Reflection has shortened what pride once expanded. Gratitude has replaced denial. Lessons have replaced assumptions. Every passing day makes the silent promise feel more real to your soulmate than the fears that once kept it hidden. They are beginning to understand that promises made in private eventually seek expression through visible choices. Don't scroll. Because your heart needs this right now. Continue trusting your own journey. Continue choosing joy, healing, and self-respect. Continue believing that every difficult chapter has prepared you for relationships built on honesty rather than uncertainty. Because the silent promise your soulmate carries is quietly reaching a turning point. What began as a private commitment inside their heart is slowly becoming a desire to live differently. And in the next chapter, The promise that has remained hidden in silence will begin moving toward a decision that has the power to change the direction of both of your stories in ways neither of you expected. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. There comes a point when a promise made in silence becomes too powerful to remain hidden. Your soulmate is standing at that very place. For days, weeks, and perhaps even months, they have carried this quiet commitment deep within their heart. No one around them knows it exists. The people they see every day have no idea that behind every smile, behind every ordinary conversation, a completely different story has been unfolding. Every morning they wake up with the same promise echoing inside them. Every evening they go to sleep realizing that the promise has become stronger than it was the day before. Listen to this. Because your heart needs this right now. The universe has a remarkable way of allowing a quiet decision to transform an entire life. The promise your soulmate made was never meant to stay as a simple thought. It was always meant to reshape the person making it. There was once a version of your soulmate who believed emotions were something to control instead of understand. They thought vulnerability created weakness. They believed silence protected the heart from disappointment. Whenever life became emotionally complicated, they stepped backward instead of forward. Whenever difficult conversations appeared, they convinced themselves that avoiding them was the safest choice. But life has slowly shown them something they never expected. The pain of avoiding the truth became greater than the fear of speaking it. Every lesson they experienced gently dismantled the walls they had spent years building around their heart. Those walls no longer feel like protection. They feel like a prison they are finally ready to leave behind. This message is for you. While all of this has been happening inside your soulmate, you have also been transforming. Think about the version of yourself who first began this journey. There was a time when you waited for signs every single day. You searched every conversation for hidden meaning. You wondered if silence meant you were forgotten. You questioned your own worth because someone else's actions seemed to define your future. But look at who you are becoming now. You have learned to trust your own heart. You have discovered that your value is permanent, not temporary. You understand that healthy love does not leave you constantly questioning whether you matter. Those lessons have become part of your spirit, and nothing can take them away. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The universe has been preparing both of you separately because some lessons cannot be learned together. You needed to discover self-love before anyone else's love could truly complement your life. Your soulmate needed to discover gratitude before they could fully appreciate what genuine connection actually means. One heart learned confidence. The other learned humility. One heart found peace. The other found truth. Neither lesson happened overnight because lasting change never does. It grows quietly until one ordinary day becomes the moment everything finally makes sense. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has begun remembering not only your words but also the way you made them feel. They remember how your presence calmed storms they never spoke about. They remember how you celebrated their successes without jealousy and stood beside them during failures without judgment. They remember that you never tried to change who they were. Instead, you encouraged them to become the best version of themselves. Looking back now, they realize how extraordinary that kind of love truly was. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was steady, genuine, and safe. Those qualities have become impossible for them to forget. This message is for you. Perhaps you've noticed repeating numbers appearing more often than usual. Maybe 111 seems to arrive whenever you're thinking about new beginnings. Maybe 222 appears during moments when you're learning patience. Perhaps 444 reminds you that even in seasons of uncertainty, you are protected and guided. Whether you view these moments as spiritual signs or meaningful coincidences, allow them to encourage your heart rather than create fear. They are gentle reminders that life continues moving, even when progress cannot yet be seen. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The silent promise inside your soulmate has started influencing the choices they make every day. They have become more thoughtful with their words, more intentional with their actions, more willing to admit when they are wrong instead of defending old habits. The people around them may simply notice that they seem calmer or more mature. What they do not see is the reason behind that transformation. Every change traces back to one quiet promise. A promise to stop allowing fear to make decisions. A promise to become someone worthy of genuine love. A promise to never again ignore what truly matters. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. There are evenings when your soulmate imagines what life might have looked like if they had understood all of this sooner. They picture conversations that never happened. They imagine choosing honesty instead of hesitation. For a brief moment, regret tries to convince them they have waited too long. But then another thought quietly appears. The past cannot be changed, but tomorrow has not yet been written. That single realization becomes enough to keep hope alive. Growth always points toward the future, not toward endless guilt. This message is for you. Never forget that your healing remains one of the greatest victories of this journey. If someone walks back into your life, let them meet the version of you who learned to value peace over confusion. Let them meet the version of you who understands that trust is built through consistent actions rather than emotional speeches. Let them meet the version of you who no longer abandons personal boundaries just to avoid losing someone. Those lessons are sacred. They were earned through every difficult chapter you survived. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Destiny often waits until both hearts have become strong enough to carry what they once could not. That is the season quietly approaching. Your soulmate's silent promise is no longer just changing the way they think. It is changing the way they live. Every sunrise strengthens their commitment. Every quiet prayer deepens their gratitude. Every memory reminds them that some people never truly leave your heart because they help shape who you became. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Continue walking forward without fear. Continue protecting the peace you have built. Continue believing that the universe has never stopped working, even during the seasons that felt painfully quiet. Because the promise your soulmate made in silence is reaching a turning point. It has grown beyond reflection. It has grown beyond regret. It is becoming courage. And in the final chapter, that courage will lead them toward a decision they never imagined they would be brave enough to make. A decision that has the power to rewrite the future in ways neither of you can yet see. Don't scroll, listen to this because your heart needs this right now. This message is for you. Every journey reaches a moment when quiet intentions become impossible to keep hidden. Your soulmate has arrived at that moment. The silent promise they made has lived inside their heart long enough to begin changing everything around them. It has changed the way they think. It has changed the way they speak. It has changed the way they look at the future. Most importantly, it has changed the way they look at you. They no longer remember you through the eyes of fear, confusion, or regret. They remember you through gratitude. They remember you as someone who helped awaken parts of themselves they never knew existed. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. There are promises that are spoken for the world to hear, and then there are promises whispered so deeply within the soul that heaven alone becomes the witness. Those are the promises that transform lives from the inside out. For so long, your soulmate believed they still had unlimited time. They thought another season would arrive, another opportunity would appear, another day would somehow make honesty easier. But life has taught them something profound. The perfect moment is rarely found. It is created through courage. Every day they delayed speaking their truth became another reminder that silence was no longer protecting them. Silence had become the very thing standing between them and the life they secretly hoped for. That realization has settled deeply into their heart. It follows them everywhere they go. They can no longer pretend that waiting is wisdom when their heart keeps calling them toward honesty. This message is for you. While your soulmate has been discovering courage, you have been discovering peace. There was a time when your happiness depended on answers that never arrived. You waited for explanations. You hoped for clarity. You searched for signs that your connection still mattered. But somewhere along the journey, everything began changing. You stopped chasing certainty and started trusting yourself. You realized that your heart deserved consistency, kindness, and respect regardless of what another person decided. That lesson became one of the greatest gifts you have ever received. It allowed you to move forward without bitterness. It allowed you to grow without closing your heart. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. The universe has been preparing both of you in ways neither of you could fully understand. Every disappointment became a lesson. Every unanswered question became an invitation to grow. Every lonely evening strengthened parts of your spirit that comfort never could have developed. Looking back, you may one day realize that the seasons you once wanted to escape became the seasons that quietly built your greatest wisdom. You learned how to protect your peace. Your soulmate learned how to protect what truly matters. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has begun noticing that the promise they made affects even the smallest choices. They have become slower to judge and quicker to listen. They think before speaking. They apologize more easily than before. They no longer see vulnerability as something to avoid. Instead, they understand that the strongest people are often those who are willing to admit when they were wrong. The people around them notice subtle changes but cannot explain them. Only your soulmate understands the true reason. Every change traces back to one quiet promise made on a night when truth finally became stronger than fear. This message is for you. Have you noticed how different your heart feels compared to the beginning of this journey? You still believe in meaningful love, but you no longer believe you must lose yourself to keep it. You still hope for beautiful things, but you no longer place your life on hold while waiting for them. You have learned that joy can exist while questions remain unanswered. That quiet confidence is one of the clearest signs of healing. It means your future is no longer controlled by yesterday's pain. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Perhaps you continue noticing meaningful reminders throughout your days. Maybe 111 appears when you're stepping into a new chapter. Maybe 222 reminds you to trust the timing of your own life. Perhaps 444 gives you comfort when uncertainty tries to return. Maybe 888 encourages you to believe that abundance often follows seasons of faithful perseverance. Whether these moments feel deeply spiritual or simply comforting, allow them to remind you that hope grows best in hearts that continue moving forward. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Your soulmate has reached a place where imagining the future without honesty feels impossible. They no longer ask themselves whether the connection mattered. That question has already been answered. Now they ask a different question. Who do I want to become from this day forward? That question has become the foundation of every decision they make. They no longer wish to repeat old patterns. They no longer want fear to decide what love should have decided. They want their future to reflect the lessons they fought so hard to learn. This message is for you. The universe is reminding you of something equally important. Never forget the strength you discovered while standing alone. Never forget the wisdom that grew from your hardest days. Never believe that someone else's awakening creates your value. Their realization only recognizes what has always been true. Your kindness was real from the beginning. Your loyalty was real from the beginning. Your compassion was real from the beginning. Those qualities never depended on another person's understanding. They have always belonged to you. Don't scroll, because your heart needs this right now. Imagine your soulmate standing beneath the evening sky after another ordinary day. They take a deep breath and realize that the promise they made can no longer remain only an invisible commitment. Every lesson has prepared them for something greater. Every memory has pointed them toward gratitude. Every regret has encouraged growth instead of defeat. They understand that meaningful promises eventually require meaningful action. Otherwise they remain only beautiful intentions. For the first time, they feel ready to let their actions reflect the person they have become rather than the person they used to be. Listen to this, because your heart needs this right now. Destiny is rarely shaped by one dramatic miracle. More often, it is built through countless quiet choices that slowly transform two hearts. You chose healing. Your soulmate chose honesty. You chose self-respect. They chose accountability. Those choices have been unfolding side by side, even when neither of you could see the whole picture. Now those separate paths are beginning to move toward a new horizon. This message is for you. Continue living with hope. Continue protecting the peace you've worked so hard to build. Continue believing that every difficult chapter has prepared you for relationships rooted in truth instead of uncertainty. The silent promise your soulmate made has completed its work inside their heart. It has transformed regret into gratitude, fear into courage, and hesitation into quiet determination. The story is no longer about what was lost. It is about who both of you have become because of everything you lived through. And as one chapter quietly closes, another begins. One where promises are no longer hidden in silence, where growth is reflected through consistent actions, and where the future is shaped not by old fears, but by the wisdom, compassion, and hope that both of your journeys have earned.